That's better. So he just moved a little bit, so we just repositioned slightly. He was facing the other way, and then as we've gone live, he's turned around and faced the other way again. So back to where he was before. He did a bit of sharpening of claws, and you can actually see between his legs there, he urinated on the tree again. So like I said, that's the 4th time he's urinated. It's really heavy scent marking. Generally cats won't mark nearly as much. You can see there how the wood is wet, and there we go, down he goes. Now let's see where he's going to go. There, like I said to you, there is a pan not too far from here, so in all likelihood he might head there for a drink. And wouldn't it be nice if we get him drinking as well? It would be like the complete morning. We've seen him being chased by baboons, we've seen him chase impalas, gone up a fallen over tree for us and posed beautifully, and if he goes and drinks, it will just be the cherry on the top, that's for sure. So let's have a look how this goes. But what a spectacular sighting that was. So, Christine, a female and a male cheetah, there's not too much difference. There's not as much dimorphism as what you would see on a leopard or a lion. So, leopards, obviously, the male has that dewlap and he gets very chunky and big. And on a lion, he gets the big mane. On a cheetah, they are very similar. They look very similar, but the males tend to be a little bit more bulky. So, they're slightly taller and a little bit bigger around the head area. The females tend to be a little bit smaller than what the males are in that, but there's really not too many major differences, so you don't see a huge difference in the head or any sort of thickness of the coat or any skin that drops from the neck area. You can see his neck is very, very clean. There's no dewlap, so it's just a little bit bigger, that's all it is. And then obviously underneath the tail, slightly different appendages between the male and the female. He's just stopped again, listening out. I wonder if he hasn't potentially seen those impalas somewhere close by. Because he's walking and stopping and walking and stopping, and he seems quite alert as to what's going on. You can also see he's slunk down slightly, so he's kind of just dropping his body shape a little bit, and then he stops to look up and then goes down again. So he knows if he walks a little bit flatter, then the grass is going to hide him and be able to conceal him. So, Vanessa, you want to know how long a cheetah can last without a meal. It depends on the size of the meal they had before. If they had something really large, let's say they catch a big impala and they're absolutely full-bellied, then they can probably go easily as much as 2 weeks, but they would be absolutely starving by then. They would be really battling. So generally we find with cheetah that they are eating normally every sort of 3 to 4 days, sometimes a little bit more. They do have a very high metabolic rate, and so they digest things very, very quickly, and they burn energy when they run. They run at such a speed that they burn huge amounts of energy. So they hunt a little bit more than that, but with all cats, their success rate is never very good, and so they chase a lot and miss a lot, and so sometimes you'll find a situation where these cheetahs can maybe attempt 10, 15 hunts before they're successful. Sorry about that. Successful, and then they'll be able to get the nutrients that they need. So they do hunt most days, particularly in weather like this where it's a bit dreary and overcast and quite difficult to see. You could potentially see them hunting in this. So they'll take any opportunity that they can as well. Being a cat, even though they can last that long, they very seldom get to that. They'll try and take any chance they can get. And so even if this cheetah sees an impala running towards it, like what we saw with the baboons and the impala earlier, when the impalas were trotting along with the baboons, they didn't see the cheetah, and the cheetah took the opportunity and ran at the impalas. And if it wasn't for those baboons, I can tell you right now that one of those impalas would have been caught. So it just depends on the situation. But I'm interested now. This cheetah's doing a big loop. It went northwards, and now it's actually going back southwest, pretty much the way that we came. So I'm not sure where it's off to. I just need to update some of the guys and let them know that this cheetah is mobile in a different direction. Yeah, this cheetah is going now southwest again. It's on the southern side of Buffpan at the moment. So it seems like it's, yeah, there we go, look, it's going into a trot now. So I wonder if it's not spotted something at this waterhole. It's looking down towards the waterhole. I wonder if there's not those impalas. So we're going to just try and stay somewhat close to it. I don't want to get too close and ruin any sort of hunt that it's trying to do, but I'm just going to slowly follow behind, and if we see any signs of prey animals, we're going to stop, because like I say, we don't want to ruin this hunt for this cheetah if it is hunting, but it definitely, its body language has changed completely. So, Hannah, the kill rate of a cheetah, it depends on the area, but generally it's about 30% of the times that they hunt is when they'll actually kill. Just careful there, Dave. So it's about 30%. Sorry, I've just lost him. He's just trotted off in front of me. So I'm just trying to see where he's gone. Now, most cheetah would try and use big open clearings so that they can get up to speed to be able to chase the prey that they are looking for. But you can see this cheetah has gone right into a thicket. So it's now almost using it much like a leopard would. It uses this thicket, and so you can see how they adapt to their environment to be able to get into the areas that they need to be able to hunt. Now I can't go forward here, there's a big fallen over tree, so I'm going to try just get around. Dave, let me know if you see him, because he's just done a little disappearing act on us. I'm sure he's not far here, but let's see. Like I was saying earlier, you can see in front of me here is the waterhole, so I was wondering if maybe those impalas came to drink, and that's what he spotted from that big fallen over tree. We're not too far from there, and he would have had a great visual of that tree. Just trying to see now. See anything, Dave? I'm sure we will relocate him. I don't think it's going to be too difficult. Ah, there he is, straight in front of us. So it's just looking to the north here. I still can't see any sign of anything, but this cheetah definitely sees something. You can see it's trotting again, so I wonder what it's spotted. The woodland kingfisher busy making a noise above us here. Yeah, Rex, this cheetah's now mobile north on the eastern side of Buff Pan. You can still make your way. We're at the pan itself, close to the pump house. Copy, yeah, just come to the, to the western side of Buff Pan. You should get my visual there. So I'm not sure what this cheetah has spotted. It now seems that it's not interested in anything. It's not looking in the same direction it was earlier. But it's obviously something has piqued its interest. I agree, James. It is really nice to spend time with a cheetah on the hunt. It's been a very long time since I've spent time with them moving like this. They generally, like you say, are full-bellied and resting in the heat of the afternoon, or they've eaten during the early hours of the morning, and by the time we get to them, they're flat and kind of just looking around, or they just amble around. They don't actually do too much. So to see one highly mobile like this one is, and moving and up and down trees and chasing and looking for food, is quite spectacular. So the problem here is the grass is so long I actually can't even see him. He's in... Ah, there he is. Sorry, because I don't want to drive into him, and I didn't actually see him until the last second there. You can see how difficult it is to actually see the the head of him in this grass. He's coming out now into a little bit more of an open section, which is quite nice. So, giveaway bucket. Cheetah females, no, they don't travel like lions in prides. A cheetah female is solitary unless she has her young. If she's got her young, then she will be traveling in groups. So sometimes you'll see like a cheetah with 6 or 7 young ones, and that will just be when it's her cubs. But in that she'll be solitary. The males, though, do form coalitions, like the lion coalitions that we get, like the Birmingham boys. The males will do that, like these cheetah, as we've been saying all morning. He's been looking for his brother a lot, and so in all likelihood, I think I'm going to have to go forward. There's a big stump here. In all likelihood, you know, he's trying to find him, and so they do spend a lot of time as coalitions. I have seen big coalitions of cheetah. The biggest coalition I've seen of males was 7. Now, these 2 that you see here, they initially were 4. There was 4 of them the first time I saw them, and unfortunately it's just down to the 2 now. I'm not sure what happened to the other 2. Everybody kind of has different theories, but I'm sure lions or hyenas were involved somewhere along the way there. But it's becoming quite difficult to negotiate here. There's lots of steep banks and, like I say, lots of long grass, so just trying to negotiate a way through. I'm going to take a different route to Rexon. So Rexon's joined us now in the sighting. There he is. So I think we chose the right way here. I'm just going to try and get us to this little open clearing that we can actually see what's going on. But if you had to come across here now, you would never even know there was a cheetah in that thick grass. So you can see it's also all about timing, particularly in places like the Kruger Park where you can't off-road like we can. You can see this cheetah would be almost impossible, and you would drive right past it without even knowing. And so that's why in the summer months it can be a little bit tougher with game viewing. Whatever this cheetah has spotted, he's definitely moving quite quickly. It's amazing how he sat up on that log for 20 minutes, completely docile, didn't look as though he was going to go anywhere, and all of a sudden is down and is moving at a rate of knots. I was hoping he was going to cut a little bit further south because there's a beautiful big open clearing there and this beautiful pan, and it would have been so nice to go there. Now I wonder if he didn't drink here because it's just too thick around that pan. So that pan is very densely foliated, and so it would be quite a difficult place to see anything else coming. It can often get surprised there. So that's maybe why it's trying to go somewhere else. Alright, so we're going to carry on following and see what we can find, and while we do that, let's go back to Brent and see what he's been up to and what he's managed to find.